And I think we're live.
Should be.
Yes, and of course, there will be spoilers, and the name should be a giveaway that there will be spoilers for the movies we're reviewing throughout this show. And I have to say, this isn't the usual time that we do this show, and it is 6 o'clock here at Monday morning, so...
It's way too early for us, too.
Yeah.
I didn't get to sleep in. This is going to be the most docile episode ever. I mean,
That's all right.
Until the coffee kicks in.
We'll get through it.
Oh, we'll make it.
So, yes, there will most definitely be spoilers for the two movies we're reviewing today. And, of course, the two movies are Two Pigeons, which is also known as Freehold, and Santa Sangre. So we usually start with the easier movie. So I think we all would agree that it would be Two Pigeons.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely Freehold, yeah.
Yeah. So one of the reasons I wanted to do this movie, apart from the fact that it's a nice little movie, is I think it's fairly low budget. I would assume that it is. I couldn't actually find a budget online, but it's only one set and it's got four main actors. And I think four other actors who are on screen for about a minute each. So I imagine the overhead would have been pretty low. Yet they still made an incredibly high quality movie. And I think that goes to show that if you have a good story and a good idea, and you have a director with a good vision, right, an artistic flair,
and good writing.
And good writing, yeah, you can make a very, very good movie for what I would assume is a fairly low budget.
A lot of low-budget films are really good.
Yeah, and a lot aren't.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously.
But I think a lot overreach. I think a lot try to do too much. And
with a small budget, yeah.
I don't think you can do that with a small budget. Try to stay away from special effects and things like that, unless you know someone who's really good at them. Maybe you know someone who's really good at practical effects or something like that.
Maybe you're best buddies with Tom Savini.
Yeah,
and he'll just do it pro bono for you.
But yeah. I think keep it simple, and you can actually make a really effective movie with a good idea and a bit of creativity.
And it was so gross.
Yeah, it is kind of like the gross cousin of Emily, isn't it, in a way?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really gross.
So I guess we should talk a bit about the plot of the story. So it focuses on a real estate agent called Hussein, I think his name is.
Hussein, yeah.
Yes.
Hussein, yeah. And he's young, he's arrogant, not too bright, kind of full of himself, I guess a bit of an asshole. Wears expensive suits and
lives like a pig.
Yeah, pretty much. Young single male living by himself in an apartment.
That was sexist.
Yeah. And did you notice his apartment is actually a set? It's not an actual apartment. There was
throughout the beginning of the sweeping shots and everything throughout the film. Yeah. It's a really well built set though. It's very convincing.
Yeah, you wouldn't notice except for some of the, like you said, some of the shots, like the one with the door where you can see both sides of the door, and there's another one over the frame of various things.
They missed that in editing.
Well, no, it really is the only way to get a shot like that. A lot of other films do that too. It's just,
and I think it was artistic too. It was obviously that's what the director was going for.
A little bit of commentary with things like that for sure.
Yeah. So Hussein lives by himself. He's a bit of a pig, real estate agent. He's full of himself, and we see him go through his morning routine one morning, which revolves around a lot of looking in the mirror. You get the idea. And he goes off to work, and that's when we meet our second character.
Well, we get a long shot of the very empty, very quiet apartment before that happens.
The anticipation.
Yeah.
And I think we should call the second character the interloper. I don't know. I can't think of his actual name in the movie, but yeah.
Did he have a name? I think he did.
Yeah, I can't remember it though.
It was touched on near the end, but it's not really relevant. Well, it is to the characters on screen, but so yeah, the interloper I think will work.
Yeah, and the interloper is basically living under Hussein's bed and in his wall.
In his walls.
and even on top of his cupboards. Anywhere else, he can.
You have to describe this human being. He's
I was just about to.
The tallest, thinnest man I have ever seen. He must have lost a lot of weight to do that role.
No, he actually has some disease.
Okay.
And it makes I looked it up. It makes the connective tissue not grow properly or something. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, in case you didn't guess. But and it's 6 o'clock in the morning. But yeah, the end result is very elongated bones and very, very thin. So not a lot of muscle mass, which gives him a very disturbing look.
It made him look perfect for this, because he could have been in there for months or years, because he looks atrophied.
But it's also creepy too.
It is creepy. He is a giant.
I didn't think he was real. I thought there was CG involved when I first came out.
Just under 6'7", I think he is.
Yeah, and I think his the body shape certainly makes him look taller.
Yeah,
It gives the illusion, the impression that he is 7.5 feet tall or something outlandish like that.
Actually, they picked a very short actor to play Hussein too.
Yeah,
he's not a very big guy.
That certainly helps.
Yeah, it makes him look even more massive.
Yeah, the actor who's played the interloper has been in a lot of movies, but they're all been bit parts. Like he was in It, for example.
Yes.
Was he?
Yes.
Yeah, he played a hobo, I think, from memory.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, in the new adaptation of It.
Mm.
So he's been around, but yeah, this movie really focused on his physical aspects, I guess.
It's an interesting looking man.
Yes, I'm sure he's a very nice person, but
yeah.
Oh yeah,
somewhat disturbing.
A little scary.
Which is why he's perfect for this role. So yeah, this very, very tall, very, very skinny individual crawls out from under Hussein's bed, and we find out that he's secretly living in Hussein's apartment. And he comes out when
morning routine.
Sorry,
we get to watch his morning routine now.
Yeah, which is pretty much doing exactly the same thing as Hussein, only spitting the mouthwash back into the bottle.
Yes.
Oh no, the first time he doesn't do that. That gross stuff doesn't happen till later.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. It does involve eventually spitting back into the bottle, and
his breakfast routine was really entertaining to me. Taking a little bit out of each of cereal, 3 or 4 cereal boxes, so
they wouldn't be noticed. Yeah.
Accidentally pouring too much milk and then topping it up with water.
Yeah.
Actually, that's what he was doing with the mouthwash at first. He used it and then put a little bit of water back in.
Empties his pee bottle.
Using his fucking toothbrush, which is the first gross thing he starts doing.
And while Hussein is at work, he talks to the 2 pigeons out on the ledge of the apartment.
In Spanish.
Yeah. Yes. Essentially, he doesn't just talk to, he is the 2 pigeons.
At least one of them.
And throughout the movie, we learn his story by him talking to the 2 pigeons.
Mm-hmm.
So he's kind of projecting his background story onto the pigeons, which we'll get to his background in a little bit later. But I did like the 2 pigeons as I guess a tool to tell the story.
Mm-hmm.
Very
Um,
effective, and another thing that low budget filmmakers can do. They're very creative.
yeah, exactly. Like I said, if you're creative, you can create a movie like this, which is I think it's great. I think I've watched this movie maybe 10 times in the last year, and I love it every time I watch it. You know, it's something you can
Yeah.
watch over and over.
Learn new things every time.
Yeah, and I still laugh at some of the parts which we'll get to in a minute.
Yeah, it's a bit of a black comedy, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
yeah. A lot of
So-
uncomfortable laughter.
And I think one of the key things that makes a good movie a really good movie is its rewatchability. If it's something
Well,
you
yeah.
can watch over and over again, I think that's
Absolutely, and you can still notice new things, and even
Yep.
if you don't, it's written so well. Often it's the writing that does
yeah,
it.
yeah, exactly,
it-
exactly.
And yeah, absolutely, that's a good sign if you find yourself going back to the movie without even really realizing it. You just kind of throw it on after work or in the morning or whenever.
It breached reality too much for me to want to do that, I think.
Well,
I did not have to check the doors like 4 or 5 times before going to sleep that night. No.
well, that's good. That's the sign of an effective film, man.
I don't like stuff that makes me more paranoid than I already am.
Well, I love the one bit where you see the lounge chair turn over, and he is actually hiding underneath the lounge chair.
Oh, Jesus.
That I thought was amazing. He must have like curled up into a ball and kind of squeezed underneath it. I thought that was very effective. But,
Is also the interloper's sense of relief you can see on his face after being in certain positions for a long time.
yeah,
Yeah.
Finally, or if Hussein leaves for work a little bit late, or something like that. Ah,
So eventually, Hussein comes home and he watches porn and masturbates while eating pizza, and he gets a phone call from his girlfriend who's been away, and she tells him what time to pick her up at the station, and he writes it down on a piece of paper and puts it on the fridge. And that's when we're introduced to another character, which is Hussein's friend, which I think we'll just call the drug dealer.
the weed mule.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
I liked his introduction. It was just like in a black studio with no background or anything. All you could see was the main character, and he was on one of those. I don't even know what you call them. The little scooter things that old people.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
little electric wheelchairs.
just an electric wheelchair or a scooter. Yep.
Yeah.
Why? Why?
Because why would you walk?
Well, also I think it just that little tiff between them. You know, your building ain't got no what was it? A lift
No lift.
or a ramp.
Because it's a set. That's why.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. No, it could have been a little bit of a fourth wall breaking.
yeah,
Or whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was an awesome shot. That was great.
Yeah, and there was just a quirky thing I thought to put him on that for no particular reason. But yeah.
Yeah.
And he stood out as a character too. It was interesting, even though he was only in it for what, maybe 5-10 minutes in total.
10
probably.
minutes at probably 5 or 6 minutes of total screen time. Yeah.
Yeah, but he was an interesting character, and you got a lot of depth out of him, I think. So yeah, so they chat a bit, and so what happens next? The next day, Hussein, does he go to work, or is it does he go to pick up his girlfriend? I can't remember.
I think he goes to pick up his girlfriend the next day.
Yeah, but he gets the time wrong. No, he must have gone to work because the time's been changed on the thing.
Oh, right. He goes to work, and then the interloper, one of the first things he does is change the time. He very, very carefully, so the numbers look the same, changes the time on a same type of green sticky note to 3 hours after he was supposed to pick her. And it changes from, I think it's 12:15, so just afternoon, to 15:15. So it would work as a trick because it's so similar, and he might write time like that all the time. So I thought it was awesome on the interloper's part. It was yeah,
Very
you can tell
clever.
that he very clever. He might be maybe trying to ruin this guy's life, not just live there. Or
So,
he's just
yeah.
doing it for shits and giggles, but we'll find out.
Yeah. So pretty obviously the next day when he's meant to be picking up his girlfriend, he's not at the station because he thinks it's later, and he gets a very angry phone call from the girlfriend asking where the fuck he is. So he rushes out to pick her up, and she now moves into the flat with him, which makes things a little bit more complex for the interloper.
He's not too happy about this new situation.
No, and there was a beautiful shot, and this is what I mean about the director being very, very creative. There's a beautiful shot where we see the girlfriend rush out and leave for work, and the camera's looking down the hallway. So she opens the door and leaves, and then down the end of the hallway we see the interloper come out, right? Because at the end of the hallway is the bedroom or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then we see the door open again, the front door open, and the girlfriend's come back because she's forgot something. But I don't know if you noticed this, but there is like a long glass panel in the door, which is perfectly situated where the camera is. So when the door opens, we can still see down the corridor and we see his reaction.
Yeah.
I just thought that was beautifully, planned. And
I think that was a meticulously planned shot. It might have been one of the shots in the movie that they either got it first try because they had to, or it was done so many times that it annoyed the actor. It seems like one of those shots where there's no in between. It's either this has to happen, or we're out of money and fucked, or do it again and do it again.
His panic.
Yeah, you really start to see glimpses of his personality a little bit too, because he starts talking to himself a little bit more.
It's sort of funny when
he grabs the guitar and he sings quite beautifully, actually.
Oh yeah.
He just hangs out in Hussein's apartment during the day.
So should we talk about the girlfriend? Because personally, I think these are some of the best parts in the movie.
Yeah.
The slow degradation of these outlandish kind of accusations that she makes to Hussein with proof too. I can't even blame her for coming. No, absolutely not. They're all very, very incriminating.
Like all the porn on her laptop, which is one of the first things. I can't remember. He's going at her over something. I don't remember what it was, but then she goes, "Well, look at all the porn on my laptop."
Yeah,
well, just before that, they were going to have sex, but he couldn't get it up, right? And she said, "That's okay, don't worry about it." But then the next day, the interloper puts gay porn on her laptop, and she, of course, thinks that Hussein has done it because no one else is in the apartment, according to her.
Not just plain old gay porn. This is like giant dick,
hardcore.
I think one of them was called "Sailor in My Ass" or something.
And lots of it, so much of it.
Yeah, big dicked sailor in my ass, and various other. Yeah, so she certainly gets the idea that and I get the impression that she wasn't even really going to mention it to him.
No, but he's being a dick to her about something. I can't remember what it was because it was.
The interloper cut one of his ties and he put it on without noticing and went to work. And he gets home and he goes, "You cut my tie." She goes, "No, I didn't." And he's, "Well, no one else is here, so what?" And that's when she pulls out the laptop. So
yeah.
So they start accusing each other of doing stuff which they haven't done. It's the interloper who's doing it all.
And of course, she says, "So there's a fucking ghost in our apartment, then." Like, who else would do this? Especially the little gift in the toilet. That was a hilarious scene.
I'm building up to that. That.
Yeah,
that is one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
Okay.
Maybe possibly my favorite scene. But there's a couple of contenders. So he he tips out most of her like shampoo, which is really expensive. They're in like large bottles, and he just tips the interloper tips it all out. So when she goes,
he uses it. It's wonderful. He sits in the bathtub. He's using it all.
So when she goes to wash her hair, like her expensive shampoos, 90% gone, and she accuses Hussein, of course, who he doesn't use that type of shampoo. So what else did the interloper do? I'm trying to think.
He switched the times on.
He a very, very disgusting loogie right in her panties. I think.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
But,
why would you come in my panties? Says his girlfriend.
It was green. What color does she think jizz is?
Maybe it was the shock because all the gay porn, and then that's nice.
Green jizz. I would be like telling him he needs to get his prostate checked if it's coming out green.
But what else would you think it was? You wouldn't just assume he'd wiped his nose on.
She probably just glanced at it and went, "Oh, what a pig!"
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. But I guess we should talk about the toilet scene where they're both still asleep, and the interloper's up creeping around at night, and
he has a massive meal. Oh, the hugest meal, probably the biggest meal he's had that we've seen
beforehand. Yeah, this is during the day.
But while sitting on the toilet, he has a very expressive look on his face.
Don't grunt too loud. Don't grunt too loud.
Dear Lord, don't fart.
It's described later on in the movie as a builder's work, I think, from memory.
It's a man's work.
Yes, it was rather large, let's say. We don't actually get to see it, thankfully, but
I don't need to see that.
From the expression of everyone else and the way they describe it, is an extremely large turd, which he does not flush. He just leaves sitting in the bowl, and she discovers it the next day, which is just a fucking beautiful scene. I love it.
Oh yeah, the two of them arguing over the shit in the toilet.
Well, she comes over and she looks in the toilet and she sees it, and of course she thinks Hussein has done it, right? Because who else is there? No one else is in the apartment, as far as she knows.
And he's so good at covering his tracks. How could anybody know? Yeah.
So she goes, "Come and flush it." And he's like, "What? What do you mean, come and flush?" You don't understand why she's asking him to come and flush the toilet, right? So he comes and looks, and he looks at it, he goes, "Oh, that's disgusting," because he thinks she's done it.
Yeah.
It's fucking hilarious.
So they are both just as confused at this point. He's confused with the accusation, and it's like
well, then he starts accusing her, and then it escalates. They're both confused and angry. Like, can't you just own your shit?
And I kind of feel sorry. I kind of feel sorry for him on some level, even though Hussein's a bit of a dick. I still feel sorry for him because
absolutely, he doesn't
no idea what's going on.
Yeah, he
hasn't done any of this.
Yeah, it's a little much. I feel bad for him.
Yeah, I mean, all told, he doesn't seem like a terrible guy, at least on the surface. I mean,
just a bit of a dickhead.
Just as a person, anything that he might do for work, as an example.
He's a young 25.
If you take that out of it, he doesn't seem like a terrible person.
Nah,
no, he doesn't deserve this, and it's darkly funny to watch the downward spiral.
Yeah,
and that scene just compounds it. Awesomely,
yeah,
I think.
The way they're constantly accusing each other of this, and it just rips their relationship apart. And she says, "I won't be here when you get back."
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, this is when he starts putting the toothbrush up his ass. And
this is when the disgusting stuff
happens.
Yeah. He puts snot in the mouthwash and spits in it. And does he put bleach in the shampoo? I think he does at one point.
Yep.
Or his face cream or something.
Yeah, his face cream. That's what it is. Yeah, his face cream, because he starts getting a face rash from it, and he starts getting sick, obviously, from all the shared bacteria. He starts fucking with his medications.
So poor Hussein is not doing too well. He's just lost his girlfriend, doesn't really understand why, and now he's starting to get very, very sick from consuming, snot from the interloper, as well as bleach and goodness knows what else.
Shit.
And shit in his toothbrush. And
yeah.
Yeah, it's he's a little bit worse for wear than we saw him as the young, snappy individual at the beginning of the film. And I think this is only the span of 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, something like that. And it's always creepy when he's like asleep. Hussein's asleep on the bed, and we see the interloper kind of slide out from underneath the bed,
or in the closet, or
the closet.
wherever he's been hiding during the day. I think we're getting to the point where the most terrifying scene in this movie, where he grabs the kitchen knife.
Oh, it's a little bit before that.
A little bit before that.
Yeah, Hussein gets quite sick, and he rings up his boss and says, "I can't make it in today," and he sends off like he's scheduled to the boss, but the interloper has changed all the times and everything, so
just deleted all of it, I think.
I'm not sure if he deleted it or changed it, because Hussein did send something off, so I'm not exactly sure. But it fucks with Hussein's job anyway, because the information the boss gets is wrong, and that comes back to affect Hussein a little bit later. And so poor Hussein's just on a downward spiral. And what about the scene where he almost gets caught? That's before the knife scene, isn't it?
Is it? In the kitchen, where he has to, where he climbs up on top of the cabinets to avoid capture.
Yeah, he's crushing up aspirin or something to put in his Lemsip.
Yeah,
his. You know what I got reminded of during that scene? I laughed at myself on the inside for this. He reminded me, believe it or not, of the alien from the first Alien film.
He has that kind of build.
Just for a split second, the build and how absolutely quiet he was, just sliding his body up to the top of the cupboards.
Well, we should describe it, because Hussein gets up and staggers out into the kitchen.
Yeah, he's sick.
We actually see his foot slide up to the top of the kitchen.
Yeah,
because we're all wondering where the fuck he went. So
yeah, the interloper panics, and he's got nowhere to go, right? Because he's trapped in the kitchen. So he basically climbs like, I don't know, some kind of monkey or alien, I guess.
Yeah.
Up onto the top of the cabinet and the fridge, and he's hiding up there, and Hussein's walking down below. And if he had have just looked up, he would have seen him. But
seen this giant lanky man staring down. I think he was having a fever dream or something.
Wait, how often do you look up in your kitchen when you go in there, though?
All the time now.
Yeah.
You know, we've just ruined the life of squatters everywhere.
Yeah.
So the knife scene. Hussein's really, really sick, and he's kind of sprawled out on the bed. And the interloper gets a large kitchen knife and goes into the bedroom. And he's standing over Hussein with the knife. And we're wondering, as the viewer, what he's going to do next. Is he going to stab him? What's going to happen, right? Is this going to get very, very dark all of a sudden? But what he does, the interloper cuts his hand and squeezes blood from his hand so it drips down the ass crack of Hussein and onto the bed.
Who is completely passed out.
Yeah, he's completely...
Well, he drugged him. He drugged him beforehand so that he could do this.
So when Hussein wakes up in the morning, he has blood on the bed and down his ass crack, and he thinks he's got prostate cancer or something like that. So, he thinks he's been bleeding from the ass, basically. So he has to make a doctor's appointment to go and get it checked out. Meanwhile, the interloper takes a picture of his penis and sends it off to everyone on Hussein's contacts list.
He does, and the moment of realization on the interloper's face when he realizes that he can do this it's like a mad scientist with his hands TP'd behind a desk.
And this leads us to probably my other favorite scene in the movie, and that's where the boss, Jerry, I think his name is, turns up at the front door. And he
visibly angry.
Yeah, and what a great suit he's wearing too. Classic guy. So Hussein opens the front door, and Jerry's standing there, very angry. And I don't think he says a word. He just holds up the phone and shows him a picture of the interloper's penis. And
he does. Oh, sorry. Go on.
He says. Something like, "What's this?" or something like that, and Hussein says, "Well, that's a willy, isn't it?"
or something like that's a cock. Like what? Yeah.
And of course, Jerry accuses him of sending the said penis to him, and Hussein's confused because obviously not only hasn't he done it, but it's Hussein's I think Pakistani.
Yeah, he's Arabic. He is not white, let's say, and
I think he's Pakistani Muslim.
Yeah.
So,
there were some comments. There were some funny comments about that too, just
by his buddy.
Allusions to that, and that's another
talk about eating pork. So I would assume that he's a Muslim, but the penis on the phone is clearly not a circumcised Pakistani Muslim cock.
No.
But it came from his phone.
Yeah, exactly.
So then he goes, "Oh well, my phone got nicked, didn't it?"
And then in classic, this scene has been done so many times in movies, but I think this is probably the most entertaining use of the stolen or missing phone ringing upon
right after they go, well, my phone got stolen, didn't it? And then you hear it ringing.
And it was a little bit predictable, but perfect at the same time.
It was predictable, but it was the deadpan delivery that I'm not sure if they were going for deadpan, but if they were, it paid off at that little. And you start to feel really bad for Hussein at this point.
And it's just a funny scene. That and the third in the bowl were my two favorite scenes.
I do like him taking pictures of his cock, though. He looks very self-satisfied. Just big shit-eating grin on his face.
Yeah.
Like, this is gonna...
Hussein also has an interesting conversation with his mother. We don't hear her side, but we just hear Hussein's, which is enough. And she thinks he's gay, and he sent her a picture of the cock to come out of the closet, basically.
Well, she thinks it's his, and he goes, "You've seen mine. It doesn't look. It's
and
white.
It looks really like a fish finger."
He doesn't help his case when he says something along the lines of, "Well, it's not my cock." Well, that's not going to make her think that.
He says at one point, "It looks like a fucking fish finger."
Yeah.
He must think he's losing his fucking mind at this point.
He does. This is when he starts to suspect that
somebody's in the house.
Something is amiss in this apartment. He thinks it's a ghost. He legitimately thinks it's a ghost.
He mentions a ghost to the drug dealer friend.
Yeah, who has had enough of watching him
destroy himself, apparently.
He comes
not him at all.
We should point out that Hussein is a big dope smoker too, by the way.
Yes.
Well, when we first really see him after work, he's, as you said, he's masturbating, eating pizza, watching TV while smoking dope. Watching porn, rather.
He smokes a lot of weed.
He does.
And eventually, when his friend turns up, he's just like, "Oh, just give me the weed." And well, he doesn't say "fuck off," but his attitude is pretty much just "give me the weed and fuck off."
Yeah.
So he's pushing, I guess, his one friend away, who might have a bit of sympathy for him too.
Well,
so,
he does. He does. He actually cares about him. So, but yeah.
Poor Hussein. And then he gets a strange delivery.
Oh, yeah. He, the interloper, wrote down his credit card number a few nights before.
Of course
this.
he did.
Well, chuckling to himself. So.
And the strange.
So yeah,
delivery,
Hussein gets a package.
Yeah, it sounds like a porn movie.
Well, I mean,
was that one of the movies on the laptop?
Hussein gets a package. Well, that would be really incriminating.
Yes, but the package he gets plays a major part towards the end of the movie, and it's a strange thing. I would be very suspicious if someone turned up at my door, 2 delivery men with a massive freezer.
Yeah, it's a huge freezer.
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't the girlfriend still there when that comes?
No, she's gone because he rings up the girlfriend and says, "Did you order it?"
Oh, okay.
My credit card, and we don't hear her end of the conversation, but it's pretty evident that she's pissed off at the accusation, which I don't blame her. But...
I can imagine her saying something like, "Why the fuck would I order a giant freezer?" You're losing it, Hussein. Yeah.
Get help.
Yeah, and I think it's around this point that Hussein goes and gets a knife and starts creeping around the apartment because he's convinced that someone else might actually be there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah.
I think that's when the interloper hides under the chair. If I remember correctly.
I think you're right.
That's incredible. Some of the places he's fitting in.
Well, he's very tall, but he's also very, very thin. So he doesn't take up a huge amount of space. But
this is the point where he stops really giving a fuck.
He does. Can I just mention one little thing too? When the girlfriend was still there, he has to take a piss really bad, and he's in between the walls.
Oh God!
And he spills piss on his face. Some of his old rank. You see him rolling his eyes and clearly disgusted because he just spilled his own piss all over his face, and he's just you can tell that he's like, "Come on, guys, just fucking go to dinner." Get out.
Yeah, that was hard on the poor interloper when she was there because he had to hide in the walls even longer than usual.
Oh yeah,
his piss bottle was extra full.
Yeah.
And oh God, because of what we do for a living, we know what that smells like.
It smells absolutely terrible, and it's clearly been sitting in there for a very long time.
It's brown, like.
That scene actually made me laugh out loud. Because his face, he's so pissed off. And
you guys piss in bottles for a living?
No, we find them a lot though.
Oh yeah, I guess we should elaborate on that. Yeah.
Construction sites, construction workers like to piss in bottles rather than walk to porta potties a lot. So
you find it, and it's several weeks old. And
oh man,
wonderful.
I'll never forget that the group of painters that were sharing a 2-liter bottle, and we thought it was iced tea, and I was debating throwing it out, but I wasn't sure if it was piss or old iced tea.
Yeah, we didn't want to drink it, or it's just
no. But I wanted
for the audience.
I wanted to get rid of it, so I smelled it, and yeah, that was a mistake. I should have just thrown it out.
Yeah.
But I didn't want it to spill because if it was piss, which it turned out to be, anyways, old piss in a bottle smells rancid. Like
you
one of the worst things.
You should have saved it to put in someone's shampoo bottle or their mouthwash.
Oh my God!
You know better now.
No, that would give it away. They wouldn't even use it. The smell would give it away. That's something.
But it would be fun. Do you have any idea how much we could save on rent?
Honestly, though, if you ever want to get revenge on somebody and you can get into their house, you put that inside their wall. The acid from the urine will eventually eat through the bottle. It might even take up to a year, and it will explode inside the wall.
So what you have to do is you have to piss in the bottle, sneak into their house, make a cut in their wall, put it in the wall.
Crawl space, underneath stairs, somewhere inconspicuous, with the lid on, of course, otherwise the smell will give it away before it has a chance to explode. Yeah, it will explode. It will eat through the bottle eventually. You have to be very patient, but I think the payoff's worth it because everything that it touches has to be thrown out. So if it gets on drywall or insulation, you have to cut it all away, throw it all out, and replace it.
You could always just put it under someone's car seat or something, I guess.
Because I don't think the smell would ever come out if they had fabric seats, especially.
Yeah.
You'd have to make sure it didn't move though, because if it moves around, and then they're gonna find it.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Just tape it under there.
Yeah, you'd have to tape it, and then
this movie done to us. It's corrupted us.
When it explodes, though, oh good lord, the smell. We've had to go back to places years after they've long been occupied, sold, and the piss has exploded in the walls. It's not pleasant. You're welcome. I just gave the world a very, very good revenge plan for people they hate. Yeah.
So anyway, back to the movie.
Did we ever get off topic? I don't think so.
So yeah, at this point, Hussein's very, very sick, paranoid, pushed everyone away. His mum thinks he's gay, which probably isn't a good thing because he's coming from a Muslim family. I'm sure they're not too open-minded about that.
He's dragged his TV into his bedroom.
Yeah, he's lost his job because his boss has fired him.
So, his boss fired him over the cockpit.
Yeah, on the spot. On the spot.
So and he thinks he might have cancer or something. Mm-hmm. So not good. And he just spends his time watching TV and smoking dope. And at one point he drops something. I can't remember what it is, but he reaches.
It's the remote for the TV.
He drops it down the side of the bed, and he reaches.
While masturbating, he was just after masturbating. Yeah.
He reaches down to pick up the remote, and suddenly his hand lands on someone's face.
Yeah.
The interloper hiding under the bed.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what would be going through your mind at that point? You put your hand down the side of the bed, and suddenly you feel someone's hairy face.
Yeah.
The panic, the terror.
How quickly the interloper gets up.
Yeah.
Because you can just see it on his face for a split second. He's like, well, he found me. Fuck it. Just
yeah.
Well, I don't think he was trying to hide that much anymore because we see him laying under the bed with him up there eating his food while he's right there. Like he just stops giving a fuck.
Feels a cookie. Yeah.
He's ready to get caught at this point, I think. I think he's just gonna let him discover him.
As we'll learn, this is where the conversations with the two pigeons are really important.
Yes.
This is where the story actually takes an even darker turn.
Yes.
Yeah, because the story that the interloper has been projecting onto the two pigeons throughout the movie is actually his own story. So he had a pregnant girlfriend who was close to delivering, and they had put down a deposit on a house
on a new apartment with 2 bedrooms because they needed the extra room for the baby.
Yep. And Hussein was the guy who had had been the real estate agent.
Mm-hmm.
And he got a better offer, so he basically fucked over the interloper, which means they had nowhere to stay because they'd already moved out of their old place, and she lost the baby, and then they broke up. So,
Yeah.
Or did she die? I can't remember if she died.
It's
unclear. It could be either or.
He says, "I lost them both." There's it's up for interpretation whether she left or not, but
yeah.
So yeah, the interlopers basically lost everything, and he obviously blamed Hussein. Personally, I think he should have been under Jerry's bed.
Yes, because Hussein does say, it's just our job. It goes to the highest bidder.
Yeah, they tell us to do that.
Well, it's true though. That's how real estate works.
Yeah.
So it's a really shitty situation for the interloper to be in.
Did you watch all of the end credits?
Yes.
All the way to the end. Yes, we did.
Yeah, because Hussein does a bit of a spoken word thing at the end where he's talking about the real estate
market, pretty much.
Yeah.
Which it doesn't work. It doesn't work like that everywhere. Once you've put down a deposit, at least here, it's yours. Like there's no more room for bidding, right?
That's right. You know what? That's something I overlooked. He put down a deposit, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Okay. Yeah. See, that's where a little bit of corruption comes in, and he should definitely be under Jerry's bed, not poor Hussein.
Well, no, I don't think it's illegal up there. I think that might be some motivation for why the film exists at all.
Oh,
I don't think that's illegal there.
Even if it's not illegal, to me, it's a little bit reprehensible.
It absolutely is. If they didn't inform him that at any point he could lose to a higher bidder, even after the deposit was put down, that's pretty awful. Yeah.
So anyway, we learned this, and
like I was saying though, I don't think Hussein's totally to blame because he's just doing his job. And
I don't really.
I think Hussein's an asshole.
He's an asshole, but he's
just playing the game, right?
Yeah.
If he didn't do that, he'd probably lose his job.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he didn't deserve to lose his entire life over this.
No.
But in the interloper's desperation,
he blamed the one who he was directly in contact with through the experience. So, like, Hussein would have probably had to call him and tell him, "Oh, look, it looks like you lost the house. You got outbid. I'm really sorry. Here's your deposit back." It was all through Hussein. So, of course, that's where his blame goes because he knows
that's understandable too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's really the bad guy in this movie other than
Jerry, maybe.
Jerry, yeah. But he's barely there, so.
Yeah.
And if that's the way the laws work there, I mean, if he doesn't play that game, everybody else is going to. He's going to go out of business.
Yeah.
Well,
so
at least we finally learned the mystery of what the freezer is for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's surprising that he lets him live at the end there, and just because he gives him his phone. He didn't ever plan to kill him. He just wanted to ruin his life and make him feel like a big piece of shit for a while.
Yeah.
The interloper locks Hussein into the fridge or freezer.
Yep.
Complete with phone. And he puts on one of Hussein's suits.
Yeah.
The shoes. The shoes. Oh, the shoes are my favorite.
Where he folds the back down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why does he call his mother and not the police? Please explain.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe he's embarrassed.
Yeah, but why would you call your mother and not the police?
Because maybe his rationale was, if I call my mother and she comes, I can explain it to her. But if I call the police and they come, I have to explain it to newspapers.
Yeah, how would you explain it to the police anyway? Excuse me.
Somebody broke in my house and locked me in a freezer. That's not. I don't understand calling his mother.
I'm sure they get calls like that every day.
Yeah, that's probably normal.
But let's say the suit doesn't fit too well.
Yeah, it looks like about
like 6 inches too small everywhere.
Yeah, at least.
And he walks out. He's very happy with the suitcase.
So yeah, I love this movie. I think it's a beautiful little probably unseen movie by most people.
It's
I don't
very
think,
good.
I don't think most people have ever heard of it. I came across it by accident, actually.
Yeah, it's very.
And just
it's
thought
very
it sounded interesting. And
Yeah, it was a really hot day last summer, and I had nothing to do, and I didn't really feel like doing anything because it was really hot. So I just did a search on YouTube for, I think, full movie or something like that, because sometimes people upload movies, not that
Yeah,
they stay up there for long. And yeah, I found it. I thought, oh, I have no idea what this movie is about, but I'll give it a go. And yeah, it was great.
well, yeah,
I
nice
eventually got a
discovery.
copy. Yeah, it didn't stay up long, but I like finding movies that I have absolutely no idea what they're about, and then
just randomly watching them. Yeah,
That's what I do with most movies. I don't watch trailers. I don't like to know what it's about. I just like to watch it and experience it.
Do you know why they changed the name for different parts of the world? I think in the UK and Australia it's called Two Pigeons, and everywhere else it's called Freehold.
I have no idea, but that's a fairly common thing.
But why?
It can be. I was just curious if you knew.
Just marketing, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the meaning behind freehold is kind of obvious, but Two
I actually
Pigeons,
prefer the name Two Pigeons. I think that's a better name, considering.
I like it more. I like the almost literal meaning of two pigeons.
Yeah,
it works for the movie.
It does. In reality, the two pigeons, but we also have the actual two pigeons out on the ledge. So yeah,
which we just kind of think that he's nuts at first, completely batshit.
The first conversation, yeah, and then the second and third, it really comes together.
Well, for a while, I just kept thinking that he was going to murder them both and then try to live in the apartment.
Yeah.
That's sort of what I was thinking for a while. Oh, we need a bigger apartment. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was great going into this movie not knowing anything about it, because when he first came out, right, that was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Well, it goes. I mean, yeah. I think the first scene with him comes across as very sinister.
Yeah.
Like very, very sinister, very serious horror movie territory, and then the black comedy starts.
Yeah,
he's really terrifying the first time we see him.
Yeah, he is, because I think if you really don't know, if you've never even read a synopsis of the film, it would be pretty shocking, and people, I think, would really, really start to love the movie at that point.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what to expect, because again, I don't watch trailers, I don't read, I just watch it and am surprised. I enjoy that.
Some things are hard to avoid, though. You know, like the big blockbusters.
Hey man, if I can avoid the Star Wars trailers, I can avoid anything.
Yeah. Me personally, I love trailers, so I love knowing, and sometimes that obviously doesn't work in my favor, but I love.
I'm the same.
Yeah, I can't help it. I'll watch scenes. I'll search for scenes for a movie I'm really, really excited about.
Ruin it for yourself.
I ruin it for myself, but I don't really care.
Yeah, but if you don't care.
With Two Pigeons, I'm glad I went into it completely blind. I've only seen it twice, but it was great. I loved it for a nice little, probably low budget, probably made for well under $1 million or £1 million, I guess. It's a UK movie.
It would have to be, considering one set, basically. And I can't imagine that would have cost a great deal to make. And
definitely more than the average person has. But if you get a small production company, and then you can definitely get it done. And you certainly don't need a big budget to make an effective movie. Yeah,
if you got good characters, good story, good actors. That's the other thing about this.
You know, you mentioned that. If I can just elaborate there, good actors can make a bad script not bad, if that makes sense.
Yes.
The writing in Two Pigeons was really good, so that's not a good example of that. But even with really terrible writing, for whatever reason, good actors can turn that writing into something awesome, even if the writing is still terrible. It doesn't matter because the actors are so good at delivering it. So yeah, yeah, I think everybody had an understanding of what was needed during filming. That's the impression I get.
Yeah, hopefully they'll make more movies like this. The director, I can't think of the director's name, but I'd like to see more work.
Yeah, he's interesting.
Possibly the writer too.
That movie could have been good either way too.
Well,
if it was somber and very serious the entire time without
just
any of the comedy.
Oh, for sure. But looking up the movie, I can see that the director actually wrote the film as well.
And that's common with low budget movies too.
It is, because it
not always a good thing though.
No, it's not. Ego can get in the way.
Yeah.
A film director and a very good writer are often two very different things. And I think if a director lets their ego get the best of them, it can really ruin something that could have been brilliant.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
I hate sand.
So should we go on to the next movie?
The Meteor movie, I would think, but
oh god, the weirdest movie I think I've sat through in a long time.
Oh, we got weirder ones coming, don't worry.
I'm sure we fucking do. You're trying to out-weird yourself.
This is a very weird movie, but the next pick I have, which is another movie by the same writer-director, is far, far weirder. But
I don't know if it can get weirder. We'll see.
Oh, trust me, it does.
I'm living to regret this. Yeah, everything about this.
This is just the appetizer.
I mean, it's a delicious appetizer.
Oh, it's great. It's great.
Oh, God, it's so weird.
Just before we get into it, I just want to give a little bit of a background of where I first saw it. So back in the 90s, we've got a TV station here called SBS, which is Special Broadcasting Service. And basically they play, it's a government station. They play a lot of foreign news and soccer and a lot of movies and TV shows that don't make it to the mainstream TV stations.
I see. So is it public? It's publicly funded then, I guess. Maybe.
Yeah. It's a government station.
Oh yeah, I see. Yeah.
Not a great budget. They don't get a great budget, but they do some great stuff. Well, I should say they used to. I haven't watched them in a long time because I've got the internet now. But back in the 90s, I didn't have the internet, and every Saturday night they had a show called Cult Classics, and they would play movies like Santa Sangre and Cemetery Man, which is also known as what's the other name for Cemetery Man? You know Cemetery Man, don't you?
Yes, I do. I don't. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on the other name.
I can't think of it, but Ghost in the Shell I first saw in Cult Classics. So they
nice.
Yeah, they would play a wide variety of movies.
That's really unique programming. That sounds really cool.
And you'd have the host at the start giving a little bit of background about the movie. So you might have like a Chinese vampire movie in which the vampires would hop. I don't know.
Those type of movies. Oh yes, I have the famous hopping Chinese vampires. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, that's a cultural thing, and that's really cool.
And then the next week you would have a piece of anime like Ghost in the Shell, and then you'd have something the week after that from France, and I think I might have even seen Naked for the first time.
Really? Wow, that's like it's almost like the Criterion collection for TV, then, isn't it? Like
yeah. And so I was usually out Saturday nights, so I'd tape it on videotape. That I'm showing my age, aren't I?
I used to do that.
I did the same thing. So.
Yeah.
I'd watch it the next day, usually suffering from a hangover, and it was great. It was great. I didn't love everything they showed, but it was they showed a good variety, and it really broadened my I guess horizons to the different movies that I otherwise would not have seen.
Yeah, that seems like it could breed an appreciation for film.
Yeah, that's not the only thing that's
no, of course not.
But... I've had friends who have been into weird movies and directors and things like that. Like when I was 18, I had a friend who went through a Ed Wood phase. He lent me Glen or Glenda at one point. I don't remember if I ever watched it though.
Was it just kind of a polite thing? Sure, thank you.
Oh yeah, he was the type of guy to lend you a lot of stuff. You know,
very insistent.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I watched it. Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to talk to me about it? Oh fuck.
So yeah, that was a great show, and it was sad when they finally axed it. I think towards the end of the 90s.
The show or the station?
Oh no, the show. The station's still going.
Oh, good. Yeah.
They played South Park. I mean, the commercial stations wouldn't touch it. I don't know if they're still playing it, but yeah, they weren't restricted by the government code that other stations, commercial stations, were. So
really, that's a good thing. That's a good outlet then.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Orgasmo on SBS. So yeah, it was great.
Classic Orgasmo.
Yeah. So yeah, the first time I saw Santa Sangre was on SBS in the 90s, and I kind of fell in love with it. It's a weird movie. It's by, I guess, one of my favorite directors, but I've only seen 2 of his movies. That he hasn't made a great many movies.
He was going to make an adaptation of a very interesting story. We can talk about that if you want, but that maybe
we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's also one of my favorite lunatics, I think. He's a fucking crazy man.
He is a lunatic for sure.
In a good way, not stab you when you're asleep lunatic.
No,
it makes amazing art, which is weird and trippy type lunatic.
Yeah,
probably
I would
too much acid type lunatic.
I think so. I would compare Santa Sangre to an acid-induced fever dream. I mean, that's apt. Maybe.
Yeah. Oh Lord, yeah, it's weird.
This is actually the only one of his films I've ever seen.
So far, you'll be seeing another one.
Oh yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it.
So my next pick's in about 2 months, is it? We go on I think a 2-month cycle, so we'll get to hear your opinions.
Yeah, 6 to 8 weeks we will be descending
into more madness. More madness.
Yeah, so an interesting actor, writer, director.
Oh, he's one of those.
Yeah, he appears in a lot of movies as well. And actually, I don't know if you noticed this, but 3 of his sons were in Santa Sangre.
I just learned that a couple of days before watching the film again with Miss Anon.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that, but that is interesting when filmmakers do that, though.
Yeah, the youngest, the young version of the main character, Phoenix, was his son, and the older version of Phoenix was his son, and the pimp was also his son.
Really? Wow. Oh,
yeah.
See, I didn't even know that until just now. Wow.
Apparently he died of a drug overdose, I think, in the 90s. The one who played the pimp.
I'm not totally surprised about that.
Considering the lineage.
They all look kind of similar too.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that works really well when you have younger and older versions of something to use brothers, right? It's like,
yeah.
Especially if they look alike.
I noticed that after learning it throughout the film. It was a almost subconscious thing that they do really look similar. They look related, and it turns out they are. So
works really well.
So, of course, we're talking about director. I've just gone blank because it's 7 in the morning.
I think that we were both maybe drawing blanks, hoping that one of us would be able to pronounce it 100% properly.
Oh yeah, you're drawing a blank.
It was right on the tip of my tongue, and then I just brain went, absolutely blank.
I will say that I actually don't know how to say his last name.
Alejandro.
Yes.
Jodorowsky.
Yeah, that's of course Alejandro Jodorowsky. And I would have known that if it wasn't so early in the morning. But
well, he looks like a crazy person. I'm just throwing that out there. I Googled it for. He looks like a crazy person.
Yes.
So his most famous movie is Holy Mountain, which we'll be reviewing when it's my pick next time. This is Santa Sangre, which was made in, let me look, was it
1989, I believe.
Yeah, I kind of got the feeling it was made in the 70s, to be honest, but it's kind of got that feel.
Yeah.
Did you get that
feel?
Okay.
I think I
Where was it filmed?
Wrong.
Oh, no, it is made in the late 90s, late 80s, but
okay.
It does feel like a 70s movie.
It does. It feels like I don't know if this would be insulting to him, probably, but it feels, or it felt just watching it, just the cinematography and the way it's filmed, like a late 70s exploitation film, almost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or a spaghetti western kind
of. Something like that. Yes.
Well, yeah. If it was filmed in Mexico, it makes sense because they're like about a decade behind the rest of us when it comes to their media, right? So.
Well, yeah, and it just it comes across like that. I was actually surprised to learn that it was such a
modern,
new, quote unquote new film.
Yeah, it feels very much like, I don't know, late 70s or something to me. But anyway.
Yeah.
But before, I should say, in between Holy Mountain and Santa Sangre, there was an attempt by Jodorowsky to make a version of Dune, which I guess we should touch on briefly, although we might do a longer version of it in a later show, maybe do a Dune special or something. But
I think that would be a better idea, but we can definitely talk about it for a little bit.
Yeah, we can't really talk about Jodorowsky without mentioning his failed attempt at Dune briefly.
No, that's what he's most famous for, I think, with a lot of people. Even if they don't know his films, they know that, at the very least, that there was another version of Dune that was kind of shot down, unfortunately, I think.
Yeah, and he was going to get his fourth son, not the three that appear in Santa Sangre, but his other son to appear in that as Paul Atreides. And he actually started teaching him martial arts a couple of years beforehand. So, yeah, but he got the rights to Dune, and I think it was after Holy Mountain, someone approached him and said, I love your work. You name whatever movie you want to do, and I'll support you. And he said Dune, even though he'd never read the book.
Maybe it was just interesting to him for some reason.
Yeah, I think he knew it was a popular book or something, and he thought it would be interesting to make, this massive world. And remember, this is before Star Wars, right?
Mm-hmm. Several years, 5-6 years. So
we're fortunate in a way that the movie was never made for a number of reasons. Firstly, when it fell apart, a lot of the people behind it went and worked on a little rarely spoken about, pretty much unknown movie called Alien.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did.
So
I've never seen that.
Haven't you? I heard it's pretty good.
Oh, I've
seen the trailer. So. If Dune had been made, chances are Alien would not have been made.
Mm-hmm. Well, H.R. Geiger, he did some production art for Dune, for Jodorowsky.
Yeah.
And I suppose you could say it was a good thing.
Well, I'd still love to see a version of it. If we ever go to an alternate dimension or something, I hope we go to one where they actually made this version of Dune, just so I can see it
Yeah, hopefully that Mandela effect becomes a real thing, and we can experience that.
Or more likely, far more likely, if they ever released that massive book he's got, where the whole movie is what's the name? It's storyboarded from beginning to end. Yeah, thousands of images. I'd love a copy of that. That would be quite trippy.
Yeah, that would be something to see for sure.
But we might not have Blade Runner either if it wasn't if that version of Dune had been made.
No,
because after that version of Dune fell apart, there was another attempt to make Dune. I don't know if you know this, but Ridley Scott was going to be the director.
I actually, you know what? I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, wow. I read it somewhere. Ridley Scott was going to be the director. They were going to make 2 movies instead of 1, which is the smart thing to do.
That is really the only thing to do.
It's such a large book. And I think Ridley Scott's brother died or some relative died or something. And he decided that he couldn't dedicate the years to one project that it would take. So he jumped off the project, and that's when he was offered Blade Runner.
Well, I mean, that Blade Runner turned out to be awesome. So
yeah, so I mean, you know,
and the film, I think, the film that really, really cemented Ridley Scott as a powerhouse director. That truly did, I think.
Yeah,
that's the way I feel. Yeah.
So yeah, Jodorowsky got together H.R. Geiger, French artist Moebius, who I guess we'll be talking about sometime in the future when we do heavy metal.
Yeah, it would be hard not to impossible to not talk about Moebius when talking about that. So yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if anyone's put it on their list, but the oh god, what's the Bruce Willis movie, sci-fi movie that is a complete rip-off of Moebius's artwork?
Fifth Element?
No. Lack of sleep is getting to me. It's too early in the morning.
More coffee.
Fifth Element?
Yeah, she said that, yeah.
Oh, did she? Oh, sorry, I missed
that.
No, it is the Fifth Element. Yeah, I love that movie. I love that movie.
It's good.
So. Yeah, but it looks like Moebius artwork, doesn't it?
It does. It really does.
Moebius artwork from beginning to end. So who else was going to be in Jodorowsky's Dune? I think Mick Jagger was talked about.
I'm not sure if he was approached or not.
No, but that's who he wanted to get. And Orson Welles, I think.
Orson Welles was going to play somebody, yeah.
It's just crazy stuff. It was so ahead of its time, and so
I just remember reading about all this. Orson Welles. I'm just the Count, the Baron.
Harkonnen, yeah. I'm not surprised it fell over. I don't know how it would have been made. I don't think the special effects would have been.
No, I think as we kind of touched on earlier, his ambitions might have gotten the best of him there.
Yeah.
Because as you said, he hadn't read the book, and I think even a director as awesome as him would have bit off a little bit more than he could chew.
Well, he wasn't really going to follow the book that closely. I think he was going to have an incestuous relationship between Paul Atreides and his mother, and Duke was going to be a eunuch.
Oh, an incestuous relationship. It's almost as if that's a recurring theme in his work. Wow.
And and Paul was going to be like a virgin birth because Duke Leto was going to be a eunuch. And he was going to be conceived out of love or something. It's just like crazy
that sounds like a really loose adaptation, and that sometimes that's not a bad thing. But
it can be, but I'm a huge Dune fan, so I'd want to see.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I have not read all of the books, but I would consider myself a fairly big Dune fan. I at least know what I've read really, really well. So, and I actually really enjoyed David Lynch's adaptation of that for what it was. So,
yeah, it's not perfect, but I do love that movie. I've probably watched it 100 times.
Oh yeah,
this version. I know it back to front. Some of the special effects aren't up to scratch, and
no, they suffer, especially in HD. They really suffer.
Yeah, yeah. The model work is great, and the music is great, and the acting's pretty good, and there's a lot of good things about that movie.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see from a different director, though.
Yeah, well, I think we will see that because they're meant to be making another Dune.
Mm-hmm.
But they've been talking about that for 10 years, and it keeps falling.
Yeah, we'll see. It's kind of in production hell right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, shall we go to the circus?
Let's go to the circus. Where to begin? I guess the main character, Phoenix, starts off up a tree in a padded cell in an institution.
Very animalistic.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure why they've got a tree in a padded cell in an institution, but
maybe it's hard to say.
Well, some institutions will try many things to stimulate a patient.
Well, I mean, clearly they are, because they do present Phoenix with two meals. One pretty standard fare, and the other a little bit odd.
A raw fish, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yes, a raw fish. The entire raw fish.
And as expected, if you're the viewer, he immediately goes for the raw fish.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't, really?
Well, yeah. I mean,
sashimi is great.
Well, it is. It's not even gutted. I mean, you can, enjoy that, I guess.
Very Smeagol before Smeagol.
Well,
scales are good for, keeping you regular, let's say.
Yeah.
Make it all sparkly.
So we then go to flashback to a young Phoenix before he got so mentally fucked up. And we learn why. I think he's got a pretty good excuse for being so fucked up.
Oh, yeah, I'd say so.
So he grew up in a circus. His father was the knife thrower and also the tattoo artist.
He's the ringleader.
Yeah, and he had a very sparkly jacket and cowboy hat, which I think we all would like, a very sparkly jacket and cowboy hat like that.
Also, I mean, the chest hair, just the glorious.
Oh, he was a very attractive man, including toupee
and beer gut. He looked pregnant. Because I mean, all the ladies want that.
Well, he's clearly a ladies' man. So,
yeah.
And of course, Phoenix's other parent was his mother, who is a lunatic member of a cult, a religious cult, about a teenage girl who had both her arms cut off.
Yeah.
Which is very important for a little bit, well, for the whole story, really.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of
a running theme.
Holds the whole thing together. So one of the early scenes is she's got this, I guess you'd call it a cult, in this abandoned building, which has a massive swimming pool in the middle of it, filled supposedly with blood, but we find out it's actually paint. And the authorities are outside wanting to bulldoze the whole thing down, and the cultists are trying to stop them.
Yeah, they're on private property.
Yeah, and of course it doesn't work, and the building gets bulldozed down. I don't know if you noticed this, but a lot of the building was actually, you could tell it was made out of foam.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah,
the bulldozer pushes it over, there's like a big column that falls and almost hits the driver. And the way it bounces, you can tell that, yeah, probably not cement.
Which, I mean, honestly, the thing was put together ramshackled by the cultists anyway.
Yeah.
I thought that too for a little bit, and then I just kind of assumed that even the walls would just be made out of tin.
Yeah.
no insulation or anything. So
No, it's a shack.
Yeah, I got to suspend disbelief a little bit there. So
It's a pretty large shack, though. It's a fairly large building.
Yeah, certainly 600-700 square feet, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so they're basically worshipping this the Virgin of the missing arms or something.
Yeah.
And they've got a little symbol of two arms kind of crossed in a diamond shape as their symbol. So poor Phoenix hasn't really got a good start to life. His parents aren't really the best, and they're not really getting along that well either.
Well, I mean, he watches his mother throw herself in front of this bulldozer and tell them to kill her. And he's there watching.
She is a little bit extreme, let's say.
A tad.
Just a tiny bit, a little bit.
The only reason she didn't let this bulldozer bulldoze her was because he runs up and hugs her, and obviously she doesn't want him to die too. So she has to abandon her shack.
Her paint shack.
Yeah.
And his father is having an affair with the tattooed woman.
Contortionist.
Yes, who's covered head to toe in tattoos.
And tall, holy shit.
And
that
curvy,
woman is
too.
Yes, very.
She's got a lot of curves on her, that's for sure.
She's thick.
she's
to put it into modern terms.
Yeah, she's a thick bitch. She works out.
And she has a deaf mute. Not deaf mute. A mute.
No, deaf mute. She's deaf.
Oh, she's deaf.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So she has a deaf mute as, I guess, a ward. I don't know how she got it. It's not her daughter, though, but she seems to be responsible for her. And, yeah, apart from that, Phoenix seems to be having a fairly good time at the circus. He's got his dwarf friend, Hercules.
Yeah.
Which is another running theme for Jodorowsky. He likes his dwarfs.
Yes, yeah, he does.
Because they're
and
weird.
He's prostitutes.
Yeah.
In Holy Mountain, there's actually a prostitute with a chimpanzee. So there you go.
Wonderful. That's not a dwarf.
No, but there are dwarfs. Actually, there's lots of dwarfs.
But there's a prostitute though. No dwarf prostitutes.
And of course, you make the deaf mute girl a mime.
That made me laugh more than it should have.
Did it just strike you, the insensitivity of that?
Oh, that would not fly today.
Oh, no. This movie would not have gotten made today.
So Phoenix sees his father sleazing on the contortionist tattooed woman, the thick woman. And
very sensual knife throwing.
Yes. And then we see the elephant get rather sick. I think someone had been spitting into his mouthwash.
Yeah, well, fuck. That's really disturbing, actually, the whole elephant thing.
Well, did you get the impression that the elephant's trunk with the blood coming out was kind of phallic and representative of Phoenix's father being unfaithful? Or am I reading too much into that?
I think you're reading too much into that.
Well, straight afterwards, though. Straight afterwards, we see the bleeding trunk and then the elephant.
I mean, I don't know how cryptic this director is. This is the only movie of his I've ever seen, so...
The symbolism is strong with this.
Is it? All right.
Yeah, so the poor elephant dies, and that leads to one of my favorite scenes in the movie, which I've always fucking remembered, and that's the elephant's funeral.
I mean, it's very snazzy.
It's so fucking weird, and it's just there for no real reason, I don't think.
Well,
I mean, it leads into him feeling the need to manify his son.
It does
over this
lean
elephant.
into it, but the ravenous people in the
Yeah, that's bizarre.
they throw it in the dump.
Well, we'll get to that, but they hold this long procession, right, with fucking marching bands and trumpets and all kinds of things, and a massive fucking coffin. They've made a coffin for the elephant, and it's on the back of a truck. And
Intricate, like very, very, very nicely made.
Oh yeah, there's tassels and nice fabric, and it's beautiful.
And they clearly care about the elephant, right? They've put all this time and effort into holding this funeral for the elephant, and then they back the truck up to the edge of a cliff and just tip it off.
They dump it into a gully full of garbage.
Yeah, it's a garbage dump.
And homeless people who live there, who then go and rip the elephant apart and eat it.
Yeah.
Why? Well, I know the answer why. It's Jodorowsky. That's why.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Ringleader doesn't like that his son is grieving like anybody would, especially a child, over an animal that they really loved. And he's crying. And he goes, we got to fix that. Must fix that.
So gives him a tattoo at the age of 10 or whatever.
He gives him a tattoo with a fucking knife.
Yep.
Yeah, ties him to a chair. That's healthy and normal thing to do.
That's manly. That's what real men do.
Oh, so is that what I should do next time I awkwardly meet somebody? I should give them a tattoo
with a knife. Like, you're not a man until you let me give you a tattoo with this knife.
Tattoo guns are for wimps.
Yeah, apparently.
Real men just dip the end of a Bowie knife into some ink and then it's stuck.
I mean, they have matching tattoos now, father and son.
Yep. He hasn't got the beer gut though, so
no, he's gotta eat a little more for that.
Yep.
Maybe he should have eaten some of that fucking elephant. That ought to toughen you up. Eat your pet.
So anyway, things do not go well for young Phoenix as his father starts sleeping around with the tattooed contortionist woman, and Phoenix's mother finds out, and she's not too happy.
So she's already a little batshit anyway.
Oh, a little.
A little?
Yeah, so I would think that little indiscretion would send her over the edge, and it does.
Yeah, a little bit more than a little.
Also, I gotta know, why does the circus have acid on hand?
I had a great retort there, and then it just left me. Oh, nuts.
Yeah, why does the circus have acid on hand? That's
I think the director had acid on hand. So.
Yeah, well, he must have.
There's that, and I mean, just in case, I mean, look at what it was used for. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
You gotta dissolve in penis.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she grabs... Well, we haven't got to that bit yet, but you've spoiled it.
I did. I mean, that's what this show's all about.
There will be spoilers.
There will be spoilers. So, yeah, she grabs the bottle of acid and throws it on his dick, which is, just in case anyone out there doesn't know a great deal about medicine, that's not a good thing. You should never put your dick in acid.
It's not before she rips off his wig, and she also dumps it on the crotch of the contortionist, which, how come she doesn't, like, bleed all over herself and stuff? The tattoos are protecting her.
Maybe.
He should have had tattoos on his dick. Might have saved it.
That knife. Yeah, done them with that knife. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, so as you would imagine, his father's not too happy about having his dick burnt off with acid. I think we can all relate to that. Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, that sounds not good.
Yeah, and he grabs his two Bowie knives, which he uses to throw, and cuts Phoenix's mother's arms off.
And he's seeing a lot of this, is he not? From the
trailer.
Yeah, he's locked in the trailer.
Yeah, I was getting to that. So yeah, Phoenix has been
after
locked in the trailer the whole time watching this whole thing. The contortionist grabs the mute girl and disappears. Like
I should mention that Phoenix and the mute girl have grown a little bit close in the last little while.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a nice
which is
little
very important.
romance. Future romance, possibly, yeah. Yeah, so now his mother's had her arms cut off, which is mirroring her cult, which is worshipping some virgin who had her arms cut off by some bad men or something.
Yeah, and they raped her and left her to die, but she didn't die.
They cut her arms off and then raped her. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a nice movie.
Well, that's the way you do it. So I've heard. That's you don't do it the other way. That would be wrong.
You gotta get rid of those arms. They get in the fucking way. You'd think the legs would be more important, but yeah, whatever.
Oh, anyway.
Different strokes.
Yeah. hashtag patriarchy. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, Phoenix sees all this and it's not good. And then so we cut back to the present time where Phoenix is still in the institution, and I assume he's been there since he was a little kid.
Yeah, well, we see him get taken away.
Oh, yes.
Yes, so he's been institutionalized since witnessing his mother get her arms cut off after burning his father's dick off with acid.
Yeah, so his parents are dead, basically, and he's lost it. And just before we go on, though, why is the circus situated there? Because, but don't circuses move around? But they seem to be like stuck in one spot. I mean,
some are stationary.
Are they?
Yeah, there's some stationary ones.
Population there to support a circus?
Probably not. Which would explain why they ate
something about. I think his father being wanted for murder or something
in the States.
In the States, yeah.
Yeah, he killed a woman in the States, and that's why he's in Mexico.
And I think the circus was called something Gringo Circus, Gringo Circus or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so racist.
But anyway, back to the present day Phoenix. Is it maybe about 10 years later? Do you reckon?
I'd say so. Just kind of fill it in with your head. Yep.
And so he's been in the institution the entire time with his tree in his padded cell. And everyone else in the institution seems to have Down syndrome. So I think that's the two clients they have: people with Down syndrome and people who have been part of a circus and watched their parents kill each other.
Yeah, I mean,
a very, very small type of clientele.
Yeah, and one-sided too. I mean, I think I only saw one person with Down syndrome. I mean, the rest, they all saw their mothers. Oh wait, I have that backwards. Oh shit.
Yeah, you have that backwards. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's very strange. But yeah, it's 10 years later.
And that leads to one of my favorite scenes in the movie, and that's where they decide to take the clients to the movies, and they just drop them off with some money to go see a movie, and a pimp walks up to them and says, "Hey, why don't you come with me instead?" And there's a wonderful scene where they're all dancing down the street, and there's prostitutes standing on the street.
Oh, you skipped over something that's beautiful.
What
it's him feeding them all cocaine.
Oh, we're getting to that.
No, that happens in the theater. He does that in the theater.
Yes, no, you're
before
right.
they go, yes.
I was thinking it happened after they're dancing down the street, but you're right, yes. Yes, the pimp feeds them cocaine.
They all have Down syndrome. Yeah.
They do. One of the cocaine recipients is very happy immediately.
Oh yeah.
I
mean, wouldn't you be?
And then they dance down the street past the prostitutes, and they go to an area where there are more prostitutes, including how would I describe her?
Rotund.
Is rotund the right word though? I mean, it's not
It
really
didn't skip a beat.
enough, is it?
Rotund is the yes.
What is something
An
bigger than rotund?
Elephant. There you go. That works.
What's the elephant's mother?
Oh,
Had to get new work.
He's rather rotund. Let's
Well, we just gave the entire film away. We might as well just wrap it up and
Yeah.
call it a day.
Oh yeah, sorry, the prostitute was the elephant's mother all along. I've ruined it. She's large and in charge.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
good.
and that's one of the things I like about Jodorowsky is he uses very weird, strange actors in his movies.
What,
Like,
fat
is he
women
ever?
are weird?
They
That's-
all kind of
It's very
stand
upsetting.
out. Hey, it's what?
Fat women are weird and upsetting?
No, but she kind of stands out. I wouldn't call her fat. I think fat's not really descriptive enough. She is.
Obese.
That's not
Well-
really descriptive enough.
She has flat breasts. She's so fat.
Yes, and then she goes off with an armful or 2 arms full of Down syndrome people.
Yeah, men.
And everybody
They look like
is
teenagers.
very, very happy about this.
Yes,
Everybody but our main character. Of course.
cocaine and fat hookers, basically.
Yes.
It's like a rap video.
The lowest budget rap video in existence. Down syndrome kids, cocaine, and a fat ass hooker.
That's a great name for an album.
Fat ass hooker.
No, the whole thing.
The whole thing is a little long. Is a little wordy.
No, it's not a little long. Rappers are getting more artistic. It's okay.
Oh yeah. More
It's perfect.
artistic.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
Go
going
ahead.
to quote mine the hell of this thing.
Good.
The hell out of this
Good.
episode after. That's good.
So, is it at this point that Phoenix discovers the tattooed woman?
yes. Which is why he doesn't go to get his dick knobbed on by the giant hooker.
Or his dick eaten in this case would be more.
Probably
Like,
more
literally.
appropriate.
That was rude.
She's
She's kind of the opposite of the interloper, isn't she? She's
Well-
the
yeah.
anti-interloper.
Yeah, well, actually, that's a good. Yeah. Yes. She has a chasm between her breasts. That was a.
A chasm. That's a good.
Yeah. Oh, it's concave. They're so separate from each other.
He's like a twig, and she's like a pumpkin, I guess. To give you a visual kind of representation of.
Yeah.
The fat hooker jack-o'-lantern.
That was a great name for a rap album.
Oh my god, I'm gonna make merchandise for this channel and I'm gonna put fat pumpkin.
Well,
Fat
no,
jack-o'-lantern hooker.
what you're going to do is make a top-selling hip-hop album. But
Fat bitches and Down syndrome cokeheads.
So anyway,
yeah.
Phoenix sees the tattooed contortionist woman from the circus from
Mhm.
10 years earlier, the one that was having the affair with his father. And he follows her back to like a room where she has taken 3 soldiers. I think they're soldiers.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of which has gigantism.
Yes, I've seen him in other things too.
Maybe, or someone like him. I'm not
I
sure.
recognize that guy, that actor from
He looks a bit
somewhere.
like yours from James Bond, but I don't think it's the same actor.
Well, to really go out on a limb here, you know who he reminded me of? Who she? The the person from the bar in Crocodile Dundee.
Oh, I haven't
yeah.
seen that. Weird.
That's what I thought of immediately. I'm not even shooting the shit here. I'm not even the Australian thing. That's really who he reminded me of.
It's been so long since I've seen that movie. I can't remember who you're talking about.
Oh, just the drag queen in the pub, in the bar in New York.
I still don't. It's probably been like 30 years since I've seen that movie.
That's not a Sheila.
I'm gonna have to watch it. I'm gonna have to watch it. But anyway.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the wrestler though, or at the end? Have you jumped ahead?
I think so. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, you have. We're talking about the black soldiers.
Oh, I'm very sorry. Yes.
The very giant one.
Yeah. There was a soldier with gigantism, which once again is Jodorowsky using a wide variety of different actors. Let's say he's very inclusive.
Yeah.
It's like an episode of
it's a freak show. It's fucking freak show.
It's a circus.
It is a bit. It is a bit. So yeah, the tattooed woman still has the mute girl, and she basically sells her to the gigantism soldier, who then goes in and starts. Does he pick her up or does he stroke her? I can't remember.
No, he picks her. He does both, but it then starts to hold her and rock her a little bit like a baby.
Yeah, she's like a little doll or something in his arms. He's so big.
It's very disturbing because I think she's only supposed to be. She's very young.
Yeah, I was thinking, did Phoenix's age match up with hers?
No, he
seemed older than, because they seemed to be a similar age when they were children.
Yeah, but she appears very young.
Yeah, that always confused me. So I don't know exactly what happened there.
Because it's framed in such a way that she's very young. Because he asks if she has somebody younger for him.
Yeah, and she's obviously still a virgin because the tattooed woman's selling her innocence, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she doesn't react too well with waking up in the arms of this of Andre the Giant, let's say.
I can't understand why.
A Mexican Andre the Giant.
Yeah.
Yes. And she panics and runs out of there. She hits him in the face with something, doesn't she?
Yeah, some glass. Glass.
So I'm trying to think what happens next.
She crawls on top of a semi and goes to sleep.
Yeah, but what happens? What's the scene after that? Is it Phoenix back at the institution?
Yes. No, he kills her before that, I believe.
No, not yet.
Not yet. Oh yeah, no, he goes back to the institution.
Yeah, because you're missing a key scene, which we're just about to get to.
And he feigns wellness, I suppose.
Well, he's in his room, up his tree, and he hears someone calling him, and he looks out the window, and it's his mother out in the street, who he thought was dead, but apparently she's not dead.
Yeah, she survived, but now she's armless.
Yes. So he climbs out the window and escapes. So probably not a good idea to put the tree in there in the first place.
No, right next to the window.
Yeah, probably not a good idea.
I guess he's been docile all up until this point, so why not? So you can go up there and look out at the world and see his not dead mother.
Yep. So anyway, they go off, and she basically forces him to be her arms, and they kill the tattooed woman.
Yes.
Rather brutally. And they then start a cabaret show.
Which, when the first time you see that, the illusion is really well done. Because you cannot really see him.
Well, if anyone is listening to this and they haven't actually seen this movie, that's going to sound very strange.
Yeah.
Well, basically, it's her in the front and him in the back.
No, but I mean the whole thing. I just explained how.
Well, yes.
Yeah, they do this heinous act and then
they start
put on a cabaret show. Yeah.
And basically, Phoenix plays her arm, so he stands behind her, and she's wearing big frilly things, so you can't see him behind her. And she does whatever she does, and he, does all the arm motions and stuff. And I have to wonder, who the fuck would pay money to see that? Really,
Mexicans.
Yeah, but I mean, the rest of the show was tits, basically. So I think that's why people would go there.
Yeah, probably. You're probably right.
That's
he was a frontliner.
That's yeah, but that's strange, isn't it?
Here's the thing: if they put the tits before the show, people would leave.
So, yeah, they have to come after.
Yeah, you put the tits after the cabaret show, and it's just the promise of tits, I guess.
Yeah,
yeah.
Speaking of tits, there is a young, should we call her an actress?
A porn star.
Who sparks up a friendship with Phoenix, and she goes out on stage to do her naughty schoolgirl routine.
Her striptease.
Yes, a little bit more than a striptease, but anyway.
Well, no, I would say it qualifies as striptease. She doesn't.
Doesn't she get down into the audience? I think she goes out in the audience at one point.
No, I don't think so. She's touching them at the edge of the stage, but I don't think she gets down. For sure.
But anyway, Phoenix's mother does not like this young woman. She's a dirty young woman, apparently, and she does not approve. So the naughty schoolgirl talks Phoenix into possibly doing a routine together, which involves throwing knives, just like Phoenix's father did years beforehand. And he hypnotizes her and puts her up against a board, and then he throws some knives. But of course, Phoenix's mother comes out, and she does not approve, and she has some control over Phoenix, so she gets him to murder her.
And he very meticulously recreates the scene from the beginning of the movie where his father's doing the same thing with the tattooed woman, throwing knives at her sensually.
Yeah, it's obviously a reflection of the earlier thing.
It is, yeah. The sexual tension is definitely there. Yeah,
and Phoenix is obviously reliving past trauma, basically, from when he was a kid. So, so he kills her, and she doesn't feel the knives until he wakes her up from the hypnotism, which I thought was
that's interesting.
Yeah, and then he goes and buries her, of course,
in a graveyard which has many graves.
Yes, I wonder where all those graves have come from.
Yeah.
Oh,
by the way, this movie gives me major Maniac vibes at this point.
You reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if whoever directed Maniac, which one came first, but they have some overlap.
Oh, Maniac came very, very long before.
Well, there you go. It has vibes of it.
Do you think he might be a bit of a psycho?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously,
hint.
Norman Bates moved to Mexico after he got caught murdering women in the States.
Man, you guys are crazy. I don't know where you'd get that idea from. Man.
They should have cast Vince Vaughn in this movie.
Oh, no.
So anyway, poor Phoenix is enthralled by his mother. She controls him and forces him by some mental power to be her arms, and continues to murder bad women.
Every woman he gets close to, basically.
Yes, because it's very much controlling him, including an attempt with a rather attractive young wrestler woman.
Actually, Fennec goes there to pick her up. I use her loosely. Because he thinks her strength will save her from his mother.
But that opening wrestling scene is amazing. She's standing in the middle of the ring, completely encased in like a large cloak. And there are numerous wrestlers running at her, and they just bounce off.
Yeah.
Every time they hit the cloak, they just bounce off. She's immovable, and then she throws the cloak back, and
she does not tuck well.
She has nothing but muscle.
I'll say.
Yes, lots of steroids, let's say.
Yeah.
Reminded me a little bit of China. Remember China from the wrestling?
Oh, that's the 90s. Wow. Yes.
I wasn't allowed to watch wrestling. It was too violent.
Yeah, I think she first appeared on Howard Stern, if I remember correctly. And then
I think so.
Started wrestling and obviously had used quite a few steroids. And if I remember correctly, she disappeared at one point. I think the story was she was kidnapped, and when she came back, her jaw was a lot thinner, and I think she was missing the Adam apple she'd grown from steroid use.
That would be an unfortunate side effect.
Let's just sweep that right under the rug and
yeah. And oh, look, she's escaped captivity, and someone performed plastic surgery while they had her. But we won't mention that. But yeah. But anyway, let's say that this wrestler makes China look small and feminine by comparison. China looks like a ballet dancer in comparison, I think, to this particular.
Oh, for the younger crowd, like Serena Williams, but white.
Serena Gomez or whatever, yeah.
No, Serena Williams, the tennis. Very.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if the two of you noticed this. All right, it was very subtle. But I suspect that female wrestler may have had a penis.
Yeah, no, you never would have known. Tough Game was strong.
Did you get that impression?
I think this is why Crocodile Dundee came up earlier.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of got that impression. I mean, I just wanted to reach in there and just make sure.
Reach into what? There was no in.
She's a big girl. That's
yeah, very big, very, very large, very in charge.
That actor walking around in heels was the most entertaining thing ever.
Oh man,
he looks alien in them.
The vodka consumption. My goodness.
God, yes.
Yeah, so Phoenix takes the very feminine, very petite female wrestler with arms thicker than my legs. Back to his place to put on a personal show, and lo and behold, his mother is in a sarcophagus. It's like a Egyptian mummy thing, isn't it? It's a mummy theme, Egyptian theme.
Yeah, it's a sarcophagus. Yeah,
and of course she controls Phoenix and tells him to kill the wrestler woman, which he attempts, but she's
like a rag doll.
Yeah.
Just throws him around.
Yeah.
There is a little bit of a size difference.
A tiny bit.
Yeah.
And then his mother gets the brilliant idea to use the sword. And then our lovely wrestler lady is done for.
And that's when we see all the other graves, don't we? All the other women coming out of the grave. So I think Phoenix has been, I should say Phoenix's mother has been rather busy.
Yeah, there's lots of them, at least 30. All crawling out of their graves. All sorts of shapes, all shapes and sizes.
Very Norman Bates and or Maniac vibe, yeah.
Yeah.
I did forget to mention something. When they were doing the cabaret show, Phoenix comes across Hercules, the midget from the circus.
Oh yes.
Purely by coincidence.
Oh yeah.
Isn't suspicious at all. So you know.
Those people are known for their long lifespans too.
Those people?
Yes.
Mexicans.
Yes.
Good night, folks.
Dwarfism makes for very long life.
That
They
was
live
very,
for-
very dark. Yeah.
Yeah. He'd
So
definitely
anyway,
still be alive. Definitely.
Yeah, and Hercules is living with Phoenix and his mother in this abandoned building, and the deaf mute girl goes there. And it's at this point that we realize, or she gets Phoenix to realize, that his mother's actually not alive.
No, it's a fucking puppet.
Yes, it's been Phoenix doing it the entire time. Very Norman Bates.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Oh, we missed him trying to make himself invisible.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's right. And he's buying the potion to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because that poor girl comes over for what she thinks is a date, and walks
Yeah,
in
she-
on
It's kind of heartbreaking too. She's very, very excited.
and she's sweet, and she walks in on this fucking crazy man and a puppet throwing knives in a mime.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, dear. Is this not a normal? Oh. Okay. Well,
That's like a normal Friday night, isn't it?
I'll come back. I'll come back later.
We'll just go for pizza, I guess. Then
Is this not what you're into?
Anyway, the police turn up at the end, and that's it. Poor Phoenix. Back to the nut house.
Also, was she really there?
The mute girl.
Yes.
I'm not sure. I assume she probably was, but who really knows?
Like I know she was obviously there. Well, maybe she wasn't. Maybe she wasn't there with the tattooed woman at all, and he just
Really
imagined
depends on
that.
how much acid you take, I think.
She just at that point in the film, she just seems like far less of an illusion than everything else to that point.
Yeah.
Once we realize that it was him all along,
Yeah.
she seems more
Grounded in
cemented.
reality.
Cemented, grounded in reality.
But why did she put the getup on?
Oh, sorry, it's my alarm.
Time to get up.
I forgot about it. Anyway,
Maybe she knew he was in the nut house. I don't know.
That's just it. Was she like there could be a lot of disconnect where she is there and isn't there in some places.
Maybe.
So maybe we really did watch her escape from Tattoo Woman and find the body, and maybe it's possible the police actually had her help them catch him. Who knows?
I don't think I mentioned it. Hercules wasn't really there. He was imaginary as well.
Yes, and he says goodbye to everybody
Yeah.
at the end.
Yeah.
When he says goodbye to all his illusions, but she's still there, which is like it's hard to say whether she was actually there or not.
I personally, I never got the impression that she wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
So it just kind of in the way the movie plays out like a fever dream. Anyway, she just, like I said, she seemed far more grounded in Phoenix's reality than anything else. And that just may be because he felt so strongly about her, or she was basically his saving grace when he was falling apart, but it was subconscious.
I love the characters in this movie. They're so weird and just all over the place.
Yeah.
And I can just imagine Jodorowsky going, we need a prostitute. Let's make her huge. Can we find someone with gigantism? We need at least one person with gigantism in the movie.
Well,
Otherwise, the movie is not complete.
I would imagine him demanding somebody with gigantism.
Yeah, go and find me one, and he has to be Mexican, or else it'll ruin the illusion. Even though the mime girl is white, and so is maybe that's why it's called Gringo Circus, because there's a lot of white people.
Yeah, it's just a weird movie, but I love it. I love it because it's so strange. Yeah,
it is a mind fuck.
Well, that's Jodorowsky.
I'm still not entirely convinced she was there. She was too calm. She was way too fucking calm within the realms of that craziness. Like
the insanity of his lair.
Yeah.
If you asked Jodorowsky in an interview whether she was there or not, he'd probably say something like, well, yes, she was there, but she wasn't, because in his mind, she was there, but she was also some other place. And that's why. And that's why. That's what happened.
Yeah.
And if you look at it through that way, then you could see that maybe, just maybe, because the universe and you wouldn't get a straight answer. In other words,
you wouldn't. No,
it would just be all over the place. It would be a bit of spiritual gibberish. It'd be entertaining, but I don't think you'd get a straight yes or no. It would be confusing.
Is he still alive?
No,
Jodorowsky.
No.
Yeah, I think Jodorowsky is.
I don't believe so.
I think he's in his 90s. I'm going to have to check. I'm pretty sure he is, unless he's died recently.
Let me see. Let's find out.
I was thinking he was 90 or something. Let me have a look.
Yeah. No, yeah, you're right. He is still alive. He is 89.
I was close.
I don't know why I thought he died. I thought he died a long, long time ago. My goodness.
Oh, he's still around. He's been doing comics, I think, for the last 20 years.
What comics? Those must be fucking weird as shit too.
Yeah, I think he took some of the concepts from Dune and turned them into a comic series, which really has absolutely nothing to do with Dune. Actually, I actually read some of these comics back in the 90s in Heavy Metal magazine. I'm trying to think what the name of the comic series is.
There's Annabelle 5. I'm looking at the Wikipedia article right now.
Yeah, same here. Comics. The Meta Barons. Yeah, the artwork in that's great. The stories are weird as shit, but anyway. I'm not even going to try to attempt to describe them, but yeah. Yeah, but he's been busy. He's still working and doing stuff.
Well, that's very good.
Yeah. Like I said, I think he's one of my favorite lunatics. I think he's just a bizarre individual, and I kind of.
He looks insane. The man looks insane.
In a good way.
Yes.
Yeah, he's the type of person who would go, but why can't we have a massively fat prostitute? That's what I want. So that's what we get.
Because that's not in our budget, Alejandro. And he just, no.
How are we going to feed her? Who said anything about a her?
So, any other thoughts on Santa Sangre?
Oh God! Every scene involving that fucking elephant is really, really disturbing.
Well, yeah, it is. I've said it before. I'll say it again. It was like a fever dream throughout. It was like watching somebody's fever dream unfold. Yeah, there's a lot we could get into just with his psychology and this and that.
It's almost like the trauma gave him schizophrenia.
The delusions, yeah.
Yeah, because they're very real to him.
Well, yeah, he's
Obviously.
reliving the trauma of his childhood.
PTSD-induced
Yeah.
schizophrenia.
And he's obviously trying to reject it because he's trying to stop it, but you know.
But he doesn't like it. Oh, definitely not.
No, but it's the trauma inside him forcing its way out and controlling him.
Mhm.
So it's symbolic of him trying to get well, I guess, by fighting his mental illness, which is what his mother represents.
Mm-hmm.
And also the elephant trunk represents like his father's penis, which then gets burnt off with acid. So
yeah, a nice jar of sulfuric acid.
Yeah,
very nice. What an uplifting scene.
Why does the circus have that? Why? Because it has to be like, why does the circus have acid on hand? Why? I mean, are they melting bodies with it on the regular? Is that...
Well, quite possibly.
Well, yeah, there could be a bit of a Texas Chainsaw Massacre thing going on there.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, I need to pee, so I'm going to be back in a minute. That coffee has finally made its way through me, so I'll be.
Oh, it'll do that.
I'll be literally like 2 minutes. So.
Have you timed yourself peeing?
No, but I'll be quick. I'll run. Don't worry.
No.
We don't need you. I think him and I can talk to each other for a bit without you.
All right.
We will talk about massive hookers.
Yeah, for the woman's cavernous breast cavity. Like, it just, they're so separate from each other. I've never seen anything like it. They were flat and going in opposite directions. It's like she laid them on either side of her stomach.
Maybe it was done for dramatic effect.
Maybe
maybe he taped them down. Maybe he was like,
your boobs are too normal.
Get the duct tape.
Well, honestly, because she's in another scene later in watching the wrestler woman, with the pimp, and they're still weird. Like I
just like during that whole scene, you just stared at her tits the entire time, didn't you?
They were confusing. I've never really seen even the really obese model Tess Holiday, I think her name is.
I think so, yeah.
Her boobs are normal.
That's the one that was on the cover of some magazine recently, right?
Yes, her boobs are normal even though she's that big. Is that what happens when you're obese and don't wear a bra?
Maybe.
They go flat and like run away from each other.
They pancake when you eat too many pancakes.
Damn it! Now I want pancakes.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm trying to rationalize this, though. I mean, you can't really rationalize a film like this, though.
Yeah,
you can.
Pancakes? What?
Pancakes? Yeah.
We're talking about her boobs.
Yeah, her boobs were as flat as pancakes because she ate too many pancakes.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what happens?
We're trying to figure out if it's just something that happens to fat women if they don't wear a bra, where they go flat and run away from each other.
Ah, okay.
Because Tess Holiday has normal boobs. They're not separate.
So, any final thoughts on Son of Sangre?
Yeah, her boobs are weird. The hooker's boobs are weird.
No, it's it's a visual treat, to say the least.
Do drugs before you watch it.
Well, no, as somebody who really enjoys movies, it's eye candy, the whole film, just on a visual level.
And weird as fuck.
And so weird. One of the weirdest films I have ever seen. Like, bar none. Like, I'm talking the top 3 weirdest films personally that I find just bizarre.
So far.
So far, yeah. I've yet to experience his other famous
Holy
film,
Mountain. Not only
Holy
that,
Mountain, yeah.
but my next that same show we'll be doing. My other pick is also very weird, but for a completely different reason.
I can't remember what your other pick is.
That's Double Down with Neil Breen.
Oh yes, yeah, I'm familiar with Double Down.
Oh, should we talk about? Oh, go ahead.
About what?
Well, about our next episode.
I was going to get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to it faster.
Well, all right. Just before that, any last thoughts on the 2 movies? We all recommend both movies.
Okay, Santa Sangre is weird as shit though. Like,
I think it would be a challenging watch for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's good if you enjoy really weird shit.
If you like Transformers and think that's an intellectual movie, then it's not for you.
No, you may be bored.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't think you'd be bored because there's a lot of.
I recommend it. I had seen the film before, but I'm not really familiar with most of his work. As you can tell, I mean, I thought he was dead. No, but I like David Lynch, and Cronenberg, and I if you enjoy just those 2 people, I think you'll definitely get something out of Santa Sangre. And like I said, it's eye candy. At the very least, on a visual level, it's gorgeous.
Mm.
It just has such a dreamlike quality. It's a fever dream in film form.
After taking acid.
Yeah, after taking acid and drinking too much and various other overdoses, and then having a very long nap when you only intended to sleep for 5 minutes. You get Santa Sangre out of it.
Again, all his fault that we're doing it at this time.
Oh, you caught that, did you?
I did.
That'd be a great name for an alcohol, Santa Sangre.
Yeah, it would be. It would be like absinthe.
I would not drink it. It would probably be fucking elephant blood or something.
We'll just melt a sugar cube over it.
It'd be elephant blood and acid.
You say that like it would be a bad thing.
Yeah. Don't knock it till you try it.
I'm good.
So we recommend both movies. Maybe Santa Sangre, maybe a little bit for not everyone's taste, but I think you would agree 2 Pigeons would be for just about everyone.
Oh yeah, that's an accessible.
I think
movie.
I think it is. I think 2 Pigeons is accessible, just from a watchability standpoint. I think. Yeah, it's very entertaining. The subtleties are awesome, and it works as a black comedy. It works really, really well.
Definitely worth watching. Very entertaining. Yeah, really gross.
As you mentioned, it's very. I'm not sure if that was your intention, Bane, but it's very very self-aware that it's a set.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I like that. I like that self-awareness.
Yeah.
It kind of pokes fun at itself without.
It doesn't take itself too seriously.
No, it doesn't, and it has some very creepy moments. Some very serious moments. I really, really enjoyed the spoken word, kind of poem
after
at the end.
After credits, yeah.
I mean, it just kind of drove the point home. It was a little bit preachy, but
I was gonna say it gets a little preachy, but that's okay.
It was good though. It worked really well in the context of the movie. And it wasn't nearly as weird as Santa Sangre. So
no.
Few things are.
Few things, if any. Yep.
Yeah. So next episode, which will be 2 weeks. We're doing it in 2 weeks, but not on a Monday morning.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I need to get myself a helmet first.
Yes.
Yeah,
we gotta make sure. If there is anybody watching, or watching after,
start a Kickstarter.
We're gonna bubble wrap him for the next couple of weeks to make sure he's okay.
I bonked my head and basically gave myself a concussion. I was so out of it on Friday, I could barely speak coherent sentences. I can barely do that now. You can imagine.
Yeah, it was bad. It wasn't good. Yeah. It was bad. We had to make sure he stayed awake for a good long while. So we actually went and saw the new Halloween, which is very good.
It was pretty good, but
really,
you can imagine. I can barely speak coherent sentences now. Just imagine how bad it would have been on Friday.
Yeah, we'll talk about that off there. It's not an announced movie. We won't spoil it for everybody.
Well, speaking of new releases and that, I did see the new Predator.
And no thanks. I don't want to.
It's really bad. It's really fucking bad.
The new.
I don't know why they had to go. I don't know if you know much about the plot, but it involves.
I kind of do.
Global warming and fucking genetically engineered predators, so that
and autism and
kids with autism controlling predators.
You know what it is, Bane. It is the current political climate. That's what fueled this.
If someone gave me a suitcase full of money and said, "Write us a new Predator movie," right? What I would do is I'd go one of two things. I'd go back to the original and basically do another version of that idea. I mean, I'd have new characters, which would be interesting, but the theme, is pretty simple. The Predator movie was never complex. It was an alien hunting people in a jungle, and that was the hook, right? Now, I might change it a bit. You might make it a bit more interesting. Maybe set it in World War II, right? Maybe
or something like that.
Allies capture some Germans or something, and the Allies and the Germans have to work together against the Predator, or something like that.
What would be even more interesting in that is World War I, even less technology.
But the theme would be the same. It would be the Predator hunting the humans, and just a
that's a good idea. Could you imagine a Predator film set in the trenches of France during World War I?
That would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be during a battle, during an all-out firefight.
Now, if they said to me, "Bane, we want something more complex," right? The second idea, I'd start with maybe some archaeologists finding a Predator helmet in a dig from 1,000 years ago, right? So they're digging up some ancient tomb or something.
Which would make sense in the context of the series, too.
And they find some Predator tech, right? And before they can reveal it to the world, the company which sponsors them whisks them and the Predator tech away in a helicopter, and they end up at some million or billionaire's mansion.
Yeah, they'd make the corporation be Wayland, but I mean, you could.
Something like that. And,
it would work. Yeah.
And what happens is they're taken into a room, and it's like that scene in the second Hellraiser movie where the doctor's got all the cubes in the glasses. Only Predator tech, right?
I can see that.
All this Predator tech everywhere, and he's got scientists working on it. And this last piece that these archaeologists have found is the missing piece he needs. And he sends a signal to the Predators, and one of them turns up. But he's ready for him, right? They shoot the ship out of the air, and the ship crashes, and the Predator's injured. And now the billionaire and his small army of hunters and mercenaries or whatever are now hunting the Predator. So it's flipped.
That's interesting.
It turns it on its ear. I can see that.
But at some point, it would flip back the other way. The Predator gets some kind of medical thing, fixes
some kind of advantage. Yeah,
and turns back and starts hunting them, and and then the final scene would be in the mansion or something like that.
To me, that whole thing leading up to the Predator finding its way would be only the first half hour of the movie. And then it would flip, right? And more of a traditional sci-fi horror movie.
So when I was watching the new Predator movie, terrible that it is, that's what was going through my head. This is what I would do.
Yeah,
I think if it
you do that with a lot of things, even good movies.
Of course, it's just the way that my brain works. So,
I know that's the way you view movies for sure. But no, speaking of Halloween, though, Halloween is the best the 2018 Halloween is the best Halloween sequel by far. And John Carpenter
That's not that hard, though, is it? I mean,
well, no, it's
good.
not, but it's by far. And John Carpenter finally got to say fuck you to all the conspiracy theorists and basically strip everything out of everything and just strip down the character of Michael Myers to what he was originally intended to be.
Okay.
Which is an animal.
Just before we go, I just want to touch on, since you brought up Halloween, the idea of constantly changing canon and what's canon and what's not canon.
Yeah.
It drives me nuts.
Well, before you continue,
yeah,
and in the defense of Halloween, John Carpenter has envisioned this canon since 1979, which is 1 year after the first film.
I can understand why it's done, but I think it's done way too often a lot of the time. And Halloween is the perfect example of that.
Well, you're right, but the canon was changed with the very first sequel, and that's when the problem started. So you're right, but the problem is that they didn't listen to the creator of the series, which wasn't supposed to be a series about Michael Myers anyway.
Yeah, look, I totally agree with you 100%.
Yeah,
but I do find it annoying when it's just, once again, it's the way my brain works. I like the canon to be fucking to make sense.
No, I get you, but he's made it make sense. He's stripped away all the silliness and made what he intended to make. If he was to make a sequel in 1979 or 81 or 82, this is what he would have made, basically.
This is what he wanted. This is what he wanted.
It strips away all the silliness about him being some kind of evil entity possessed by some kind of demon to just being a psychopathic
or something.
Yeah, he's just an animal who kills. It's murder for murder's sake. There is no motive at all. No motive. Zero. He's just a monster.
But I'm not just talking about Halloween. It's a general thing. It's like the Highlander movie. A Highlander movie. Everyone.
Oh my goodness! Yeah,
the one before, right? I mean,
absolutely. With Highlander, 100% agreed. It becomes ridiculous.
I saw a Highlander movie. It must have been about 10 years ago, and it took the Connor McLeod character from the movie series, and it put him in the movie with the other character from the TV series. I never watched the TV series.
The TV series is actually pretty good, but what you've just described was ridiculous. Yeah,
it was another McLeod, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, it was, but it worked as a TV series.
Yeah, so
it's just a descendant
of two characters in the same movie, right? Even though one's from the movie series and one's from the TV series, because they're meant to take place in the same universe. Right?
They do take place in the same universe.
Yeah, but Connor McLeod gets killed before the end of the movie.
Yes, he does, and it's pretty hard to argue that he's not dead.
Happen because he's alive in the first movie, right? He's the last one. So the one from the TV series couldn't be alive. It doesn't make any sense.
The constant rewrites.
It just doesn't.
What you're speaking of is a complete rewrite as opposed to a different timeline or universe.
It drives me nuts.
Certainly. Yeah, I can. I mostly agree with you when it comes to Halloween, though. I'm glad that they did that and just set it straight.
I can understand it being done occasionally. Especially with Hollywood being the way it is, often they have extremely bad ideas for movie series.
Oh, studio meddling all over the place.
And especially if the series isn't as popular anymore.
Exactly. They take good ideas that are already good and just
ruin them.
And ruin them when change isn't needed at all. It's not that change isn't good. Change can be really good. Fresh ideas, like a remake kind of only following the original film or book. That's fine. I can live with that if it's done well and tastefully. But if it's just written just to rewrite it just for a new audience, or just to rewrite the history of the film and make a new canon, yeah, I can see how that can drive you nuts.
Yeah. Anyway, that's my gripe for the show.
So next episode. Next episode we have.
We're getting to it. Don't worry.
No, I'm interrupting now. Yeah. I'm interrupting your bitch fest. We have Master and Ons picks next episode. I haven't seen either of them. So.
Lots of skin.
Yeah, I was gonna say Under the Skin and the Reflecting Skin, all the skin, every skin.
I've seen Under the Skin. That's a great movie.
Yeah.
Reflecting Skin. I'm not sure if I've seen that.
Well, I could kind of give away the synopsis now if you'd like, or save it till next episode.
No, save it, because I won't go into it blind. But I'm curious.
I will say it's an utter coincidence that they are both so similar in title.
they have nothing in common.
They actually have nothing in common whatsoever. Well, I shouldn't say that. I will say that one recurring theme, although loosely connected, the films aren't connected, but the themes are. I would say invasion is very much a theme of the episode. It won't be a fun episode. It will.
Oh, wonderful!
Yeah.
We won't have dwarfs or people with gigantism or prostitutes.
No, I don't think so. It'll be pretty somber.
No interlopers under beds.
Interlopers, yes.
You'll have a hard time out sombering me picking a movie about two children starving to death in a cave. So I think that'll be the most depressing we watch ever.
I'm trying to think if I've got a movie in my future picks which is any more depressing than that. Probably not.
I don't think such a thing exists.
You two didn't have fun. Oh.
Oh. Yeah, no. That wasn't an adventure. All right, good night, everybody. We will
in 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Friday night, American Canadian time, Saturday, Aussie time.
Should be the 7th, December the 7th.
We're getting close to Christmas.
Yes, we're going to do a fun Christmas-themed episode sometime in December.
Well, are we going to do like a end-of-year wrap-up of movies? We should call it, instead of There Will Be Spoilers, we'll call it There Won't Be Spoilers.
Yeah, we could do that.
And we'll talk about movies of the year, but not in a spoilery type way, because there's probably a lot of movies that some of us have seen, but others haven't.
Yeah, we will definitely do that. January 1st.
We will definitely go over a brief synopsis of the movies and just kind of leave it at that. And
yeah.
All right, well, good night, everybody. Good
afternoon.
Goodbye.